Time now for business. Let's say hello to Kate Moody.
Hi, Francois.
So we heard our Europe editor, Catherine Nicholson, talking about that jousting, which could lead to ahead of Brexit negotiations. The tension is mounting.
It absolutely is, and businesses are certainly feeling it. There's just 38 days now to reach a deal. The EU warning against any move to revisit or override last year's withdrawal agreement. Now, the Federation of Small Businesses in the UK has this Monday called on the British government to provide them with targeted financial support in order to navigate the next phase of Brexit. The group says that they've had to spend much of the transition period dealing with the coronavirus pandemic rather than their future outside the European Single Market and Customs Union. And they say they're now less prepared for a no-deal Brexit than they were 6 months ago. Economists, meanwhile, said the heightened rhetoric didn't substantially alter their predicted outcome for now. Most analysts say the chances of reaching a trade deal in time remain about 50-50, but that it added to the short-term risks for the British economy. Currency traders, meanwhile, have warned the pound could be in for a rough few weeks. Sterling dropped to around $1.31, around €1.11 there. You can see those losses on the first day of trading this week. Let's check in on the rest of the day's trading action now. The major European indices closed higher as they tried to shake off last week's tech-driven sell-off. Gains of around 2% across the board there. The DAX up despite data showing that industrial production in Germany had begun to lose steam in July. The CAC count was up about 1.8% at the close. Wall Street is closed today as the U.S. marks the Labor Day holiday weekend. Well, earlier, shares of China's largest chip maker dropped nearly 23% after the U.S. threatened to blacklist it. The Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation denied having ties with China's military. The Trump administration has been waging war against a number of Chinese tech firms, including Huawei and the popular app TikTok, saying they pose a security threat to U.S. users. A foreign ministry spokesman in Beijing accused Washington of blatant bullying and breaking international trade rules.
This not only violates the rules of international trade and destroys the global industrial chain, supply chain and value chain, it also damages US national interests and its own image. We urge the United States to stop the erroneous practice of misusing the concept of national security to suppress foreign companies.
Separately, one of Huawei's rivals in the field of 5G scored a victory in the United States. South Korean telecoms manufacturer Samsung has signed a more than $6.5 billion deal with American operator Verizon. It's not known how much of that agreement explicitly covers 5G, but it puts Samsung in a strong position to become a global provider. Luke Schrager reports.
It's a major win for Samsung. A $6.65 billion deal with Verizon will see the South Korean electronics company provide the US telecoms firm with network equipment and services, mainly in the 5G band, for the next 5 years. It comes 2 years after both firms teamed up for trials of 5G-powered home internet and will give Samsung a major boost in its mission to become a global supplier of the communications technology. It currently trails the top three, Nokia, Ericsson and world leader Huawei. However, the Chinese firm has seen Western governments under US pressure crack down on or outright ban its use with national security concerns over data protection, giving Samsung and other rivals a shot at boosting their market share. The South Korean conglomerate has already invested over $30 billion in the US market alone, with Washington announcing last month it would auction off in another 2 years areas of the spectrum previously dedicated to military use, as it ramps up 5G coverage for civilian use.
Meanwhile, one of the tech industry's biggest annual events is going ahead in Berlin, the first since the coronavirus pandemic struck. Many big names, including Samsung and Sony, chose not to attend the IFA Electronics Fair, leaving smaller startups in the spotlight. Several of them focused on communication and connection as more people around the world continue working from home. And it'll come as no surprise that among the new gadgets on display was a high-tech version of the must-have accessory of 2020, a face mask.
Those fabric masks can get rather stuffy. It's got a very light, very quiet fan to assist your breathing. A breathing sensor that changes fan operation when you inhale and also exhale.
There you go. Perhaps no, I think no surprise, really. I don't know. Do you know what I don't know? I'll have to look into it.
Doesn't look cheap.
I expect it's not cheap, but it might be a bit more comfortable.
All right, many thanks, Kate
You have
Mooney.
to invest for real quality.
You do. Always buy the best, says Kate. We'll have more business news for you later. It's